Good morning. This is K24's New Dawn. My name is Joel Chacha. Being on a Friday, we focus on the events of the week, reviewing how they unfolded. In studio, I'm joined by Professor Fred Ogola, economic and governance expert, and as well Wanjiku Thiga, gender justice advocate. To begin with the latest, the High Court. It is now a sigh of relief for Kenyans as the High Court has blocked the increase of the road maintenance levy from 18 Kenya shillings to 25 Kenya shillings. Hey, Wanjiku, you know, Kenyans had opposed this particular increase by 7 shillings. There was a public participation that was done. And even the petitioner here, that is, Gregory Mutai, rather George Odhiambo, who moved to the court, he challenged it on the basis of lack of adequate public participation. You know, must the courts speak to some of these issues for the government to listen? And in fact, still on the same, fuel matters, there is a 16% VAT that has been maintained despite the nullification of the Finance Act of 2023. Now we should have, the VAT as 8%, but instead it's at, 16%. The road maintenance levy went up to 25 shillings from 18 shillings. Are we having a government that, first of all, to its citizens, not even the courts, it's giving a deaf ear to its citizens?
I will start by saying that various infrastructures within our country coexist to work in harmony. So it's important that judiciary participates in the running of the country. So I'm happy that the court is out there participating and doing its job. But again, your question, going back to your question, does the court have to speak for the government to listen? You see, the reason why we have social unrest in our country and latent anger, and public anger as well, is because of government irresponsiveness. The government is not being responsive to the issues that are being brought. And that is the biggest downfall of the Kenya Kwanza government. And now we are having now fuel going up, the road maintenance levy going up, that means that there will be increased consumer costs. Also looking at items related to petroleum, they will go up. Social unrest will still be there. That means transportation costs are going high. That means businesses also, industries that are using petroleum to run are going high. You see, that means then business is on the low. That means that the 60% of young people who are unemployed remain unemployed, and that means more continue getting into the bracket of unemployment. Honestly, really, is the government listening? We need social protection, we need social cushioning. The government still ignores. I don't know why, but I don't know why I'm saying I don't know why, but honestly, the disconnect is there because, again, it was the political class that came together. These people don't know exactly what's happening. At the end of the day, they are really disconnected to the issues. And you see, we had an opportunity to bring, especially a youthful cabinet, that is really in tandem with what is going on. So they would have really given fresh ideas on how to tackle what is happening in our country today.
Prof. Ogola,
yes.
The argument that, especially on the question of what became of the nullification of the Finance Act of 2023 was because we did not have yet an AG.
Yes.
And now Dorcas Oduor was approved by Parliament. Is it a must for the State Law Office to have an AG for us to implement or to abide by the court orders and court rulings? Or must there be a face in form of an AG for everyone to translate that we don't have a Finance Act of 2023, we need to revert to the Finance Act of 2022, and by that it means from 16% VAT on fuel, we need to go back to 8% VAT on fuel. And also on the road maintenance levy, the fact that Murkomen, while he served as the transport, CS,
yeah,
he stated categorically that Kenyans had rejected this during the public participation. Shortly after he left office, now transitioning to the sports docket, the road maintenance levy was increased by 7 shillings. In fact, with the pump prices now at 188 shillings per litre of, petrol, could it be maybe at 160 shillings? And these are the conversations that the country is not having.
Yeah. So first of all, the fact that even when Murkomen left the means of transport and went to means of sports, and the fuel levy has gone up, it means the issue is not the CSS. You see, the software which is called Routonomics. So Routonomics is going to play irrespective of who is in which ministry. And I said it before, that we are always trying to say that when you change this person with that person, if the software is clueless about the problem that Kenyans are facing, then it will just produce what Ruto wants.
What the Embakasi East Member of
Yes,
Parliament
because
Babuino says, Ruto advises his advisors on how to advise him.
Yes,
So
yes,
despite who is there.
Babu is right. But let me just put it economically. And let me answer this more economically than just talking about personality. What is happening with the system is that this government is concerned about the input, never concerned about the output. When you look at how they talk about economics, they tell you how much money they want from Kenyans, but they don't bring it, consumer it with the services they offer. And I said before, the government taxes like an elephant, but the service is like a fly. So look at the budget for 2024-2025. 4.2 trillion budget, then frozen employment. I don't know that, Joel, you're getting my point. Wanjiku, you get what I'm trying to say here? How can you freeze unemployment and move the budget from the 3.7 trillion to 4.2 trillion with no additional adding of salary? Like now, as a man at home, if my employer would have added me salary of around 200,000 shillings, I would hire someone in the household to earn some money and create even 1 or 2 employment. So it cannot be that the government is concerned about the input they are getting from us by taxing, but the output in terms of government service delivery is happening. Let's just get this to the right facts. With the fuel levy increment, look at the roads. Now start driving from here and hit Waiyaki Way as you head towards Kikuyu. It's like that road was repaired when Jesus was here. Take this road, Mombasa Road, as you head towards Mombasa. Pass via Voi. In fact, you are driving in potholes. I have done calculations. There's a software that Kenya has. When I was doing study plan for Kenya, I'm aware that you can be able to measure the number of potholes from Busia to Mombasa. There are 167,000 thereabout potholes between them. Now, if you are driving a car between Busia and Mombasa, you are going to hit those potholes. How will your tire look like? So you're paying highly fuel levy, you're going to lose a tire, or you may actually have a challenge with your suspension of a car, and yet you're paying more taxes. So the government is taking too much from you and delivering very little to you. So let me just go and say that these people seem not to understand the two problems of the economy. I'm an economist. Let me just give me 2 minutes to explain. One, the problem economic of Kenya is high debt, because we are being told that over 70–60% of the Kenya shillings is going into paying the debt. The second problem we have in the country is low economic activity. So when there's low economic activity, then your solution is one. Ruto only knows one solution: tax increase. That's why it's called Zakayo, isn't it? So when you hike taxes, you lower even more economic activity. When there's low economic activity, you even have less capacity to collect more taxes and repay the loans. So there must be an economic solution to this, and I want to focus on: one, we need to reduce taxes, and two, we need to put stimulus in the economy so that young people can get jobs, so that you can collect more, expand more people going to job, not freezing employment and then collecting taxes. It does not make sense. Thirdly, we need to lower government expenditure, and having a broad-based government is not a solution to reducing government expenditure. Look at the expenditure that was in Eldoret. Look at everybody being there, the vice president being there. Do you know the cost of flying the vice president, the president, all these ministers, all these governors? Governors didn't use their private money to reach Eldoret, isn't it? So we are looking at just one activity. While young people have no jobs, everybody is living in opulence. So according to me, reduce the government expenditure, and then secondly, lower the interest rate for the bank so that people can create their own income. But if we don't see all this in holistic manner, we are just killing this economy as it looks. To finish this, There is no need of waiting for Attorney General to be there. The Attorney General office is there. The office of the Attorney General is there.
So it functions.
It should function.
If, just
yes,
Muturi.
Yes, because Kenya is a going concern.
There.
Kenya cannot die because somebody is not there. If I die today, even my family will run.
Office, it's not an individual.
Yes, just like my family, even Joel. If I die now, do you think my family will stop? Things will continue. Birds will cry.
Wanjiku, even as the road maintenance levy was increased from 18 shillings to 25 shillings, the argument was this money is not even enough. And so there was a proposal by Kenha to have toll fees on the major roads, Thika Road, you name them. Are we looking at a country that has a high appetite of, I don't know whether we should term it as revenues, but on the ground, you will not see the impact.
Yeah.
For example, the expressway with 27 kilometers, you'll pay up to 470 shillings. So you can imagine these roads from Nairobi to Thika, from Nairobi to the bypasses that are there. Are we looking at, even as Ruto promises cheap fertilizer, blah blah blah, end up having very expensive commodities as a result of transport being expensive?
You see, it's counterproductive at the end of the day. You want to put one up and the other one down. At the end of the day, it's really counterproductive. You see, the Kenyan population has a lot of financial stress, literally, and that's why you can see the social unrest, you can see mental health issues really going up. Chacha will let you know that the other week, in my ward at ward level, 3 young people committed suicide. At ward level. You can imagine what it means at national level. So imagine that the easiest or the most innovative solution you can get for supporting Kenyans is by taxing more or issuing like the toll levy. So we must, at the end of the day, the government has to exist to support Mwananchi or the young Kenyan. Let's talk about the adverse cost or the adverse impact on young families, that even just the petroleum going high, that means energy goes up. That means cooking fire. Now, those who use gas, there's those who are using kerosene. Even the most cheapest product that was cocoa that was being used across, it's also going up. So the financial stress at home level is going higher. The impact you will see now, as a gender advocate, I will tell you, we are rescuing more women from GBV issues, and that's, you see, the financial stress that is on the providers, and that is the men. We are talking about lack of
So food. You're saying the financial constraints that Kenyans have translate even to the increased number of GBV cases?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It will see, we are seeing now higher cases of GBV. Yeah. So you see, men are frustrated. Where do they get all this frustration from? Because when you come home, your wife is asking, you didn't send money for this and that. And then know him, it's pressure. There's pressure, I'm out there looking for work, there's no work, or maybe I've gone through cuts, salary cuts. So the pressure at family level is unmanageable. And that's why you can see femicide cases going so high, and they are really up. Because it's just anger, that pent-up anger. And you see, again, look at our health system. We still don't look at mental health. We don't fund mental health. And then again, mental health still is a taboo in our country. So we have all these conflict issues conflated at the end of the day, coming out in ways that the president continues to ignore. And we talk to our legislators. I talk to my MC and I say, you need to do something about this. But even him, he says, I don't have the social structure to support as well. So at the end of the day, leadership has to come all the way up. We have to look at the impact of the decisions you're making, which are being transferred at the social impact of it.
Prof.
Yes.
In the finance bill of 2024, there was a proposal, the 2.5% motor vehicle tax. And perhaps now that Kenyans rejected that, it's a smart move to sneak in more of the same taxes. Actually, for the toll fees, it could be even expensive than what the fuel, the motor vehicle tax was to bring, is the government still trying to sneak back some of the punitive laws that Kenyans have been rejecting? Have they learned from the Gen Z demos that have been staged in the country for the past almost 2 months?
Yeah, let me just say that as an economist, the government speaks through the budget. So whatever the government does, it speaks through the budget. Which means when you hear the quote, "or put your money where your mouth is," that's where it came from. Now, the government had passed a budget, and let me ask you, when the budget was read in Parliament, before the finance bill was rejected, have they gone back to change the budget? No. They have stuck with the budget, meaning that the president wants the money no matter what.
They did that for the finance bill 2024.
But you see the withdrawal.
Yes, so there is need to go back and also bring another supplementary too.
They will not. There is no chance for that. The president will collect this money through any other means. And let me just explain here. And I like what she has said. Let me just start with just something on the light note. There's a friend of mine who lives in Mombasa. Her name is Ses Manga. She told me one day that when a man tells the wife or a girlfriend they have no money, the man starts looking like a goat. You know how a goat looks like? So if you're at home as a man and you cannot earn money for your family, and you start saying, there's no money, let us cut on this, the woman starts seeing you like a goat. You cease to be a man. And that's why a man cannot accept look like a goat at home, and there could be some domestic violence there. Because I'm told that when there's no money at home, people quarrel. When the money comes back, people say, let's go have coffee. Because you can't have coffee without money. Yeah. So this is a challenge. Also,
the crime rate could increase as
yes,
a
could increase, and also even just some kind of violence and the rest. So
and
let's look at that.
There's a conversation of expanding our prisons.
Yes, of course. Actually, in my Solomonic economics book said that Ruto had asked the PS for prisons to give him all the gazetted areas where prisons are, to build more prisons so that when these young people are crying they have no jobs and they have no income, you put them inside prison so they cannot demonstrate. Unfortunately, before they did this building, the Gen Zs came to the street and they were caught off guard. But that's in the book, written last year, launched last year in June. It's right there. The issue of the youth population badge, which I think maybe you can give me a chance later to explain. But now what I'm trying to say here is, if you look at the new proposals on the house levy, on the fuel levy, let's also go another proposal that Kenya has proposed that Thika Highway tolling will be happening, Nairobi Southern Bypass, Nairobi Nakuru Mau Summit Highway, Kenol Sagana Mau Road, Mombasa Southern Bypass, Dongokundu Bypass, among other road measures. Now I'm trying to say, Thika Highway was done by Kibaki, isn't it? Why should Ruto come to do toll on it? All these ones were done by Kibaki, some of them were done by Uhuru. Why should you come to a project done by your predecessor, given to the citizens, then for you looking to tax? So the question is, what you should do, it should be new projects if at all you need to toll them. Because you cannot be able to milk a cow that you have not given nutrient grass and not given water. So Ruto wants to get money from where he has not made. In fact, even the Bible is clear. You cannot harvest where you didn't sow the seeds. So Ruto needs to sow new seeds. Because in media all over, Kenyans are now mocking William Ruto. Everybody is launching everything. Like even now I should go and launch my door. Someone will launch a window. Because all the things launched.
The newspaper.
Yes, even K24 needs to launch the street here. So you are launching and people are not seeing it. Why don't you go and put a toll on what you launched? Do you know, we have done analysis, and somebody, a friend of mine is a lawyer, he's called Morara.
Morara Kebaso.
Yes.
He was right here.
Yes, he has, we have done analysis and found out that since William Ruto became president, he has launched over 20,000 projects, isn't it? Where are they? Like even there was one done in Masai Mara. He was even showing a video of it. So it's becoming a mockery whereby you want to milk where you didn't put any seeds, and therefore you want to harvest where there's no cultivation. So in short, let me just try to explain here is that Ruto has not listened to the Gen Z. Ruto has to understand that a revolution has taken place. The time when you can cheat Kenyans are not there. People even activate the cheatometer. How much lying is going on in government and are being propagated. So I want to go on and say, changing ministers is not a solution, because we are seeing that in spite of the fact that Churchill left the energy. Now it's Opiyo Wandayi. The tokens went up for electricity, in spite of the fact that Opiyo Wandayi, who was fighting on the street about Sufuria revolution, is also inside the government, which he was opposing, and the energy levels are going up for Kenyans, which is electricity. Now you go now, road, Kumurkomen was the problem, isn't it? But he moved to sports, isn't it? There's no sports levy, but now we have what? Road levy. The problem should be addressed from the top. And I want to end by saying, until we have the right person in State House, Kenyans will never see the right. And lastly, the number one quality of leadership should be honesty. In fact, people have said, let us elect someone who is politically connected. People have said, let's elect someone who has money. They said, if you elect Uhuru Kenyatta because he's wealthy, there will be no corruption. No. Number one quality is not even intelligence. Let man not even tell you, no, oh, you are intelligent, you'll be president. No, we have intelligent people who have used their intelligence against the country. William Ruto is an intelligent man. Uhuru Kenyatta is an intelligent man. Have we benefited from their intelligence? No. Kibaki was an intelligent economist. We got the benefit of intelligent economists, but we lost honesty. So we need number one quality should be honesty in government. To keep the government systems clean, then all services will streamline effectively and efficiently.
Figure, you know, usually when we collect such monies, be it the road maintenance levy, the housing levy, it's ring-fenced in the Constitution, where you're not supposed to channel the money to funding the exchequer. But there have been attempts to, when you collect the road maintenance levy, it can fund the budget. And perhaps we could be having a lacuna in the law as far as that is concerned, because we also saw for the affordable housing, there was some 20 billion that was invested in the treasury bills and bonds. You know, because the issue I think could be absorption of these monies. They collected about 5.5 billion monthly, and they're not able to utilize it. And so they have to channel it to the treasury bills. In other words, the government is borrowing from itself. I'm not sure who benefits from the interest.
I think we have a government that has a problem on following rule of law. You see, the Constitution exists for a purpose. I know, and people have challenged me, that there's a time where politics supersedes law. I've been challenged by that, and I've been told, Wanjiko, you have to be privy to the fact that sometimes politics supersedes law. But structures exist for a reason, Chacha. There's a reason why our predecessors, saw the need of a supreme document that governs everything. Therefore, we've seen this government being very notorious, not following the law. For example, you see when with the finance bill, the appropriation bill did not even, it should be the first document that should have been approved. But finance bill went ahead of it. And that's why you saw the president going back and approving the appropriation bill, because in his mind was like, okay, we haven't done this. And we've seen that the former AG said that I advise the president, but he doesn't take my advice. So I honestly believe, Chacha, that the institutions that support government, the institutions that exist to support our country, they're doing their part. But we are having a system that ignores advice, that does what it wants, which is illegal and it is wrong. At the end of the day, we exist to keep the government in check. And that's why we were really happy with Gen Z, because that was the force that we needed, the energy that we needed. Because being an active citizen also takes work at the end of the day. So the president has to understand that he has to follow rule of law. I don't know what we can do, because we've seen, especially countries in the East, if you are not adhering to rule of law, there are dire consequences. But for us in Kenyans, there are no dire consequences if you have power.
At that juncture, we take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be touching on matters politics. Kalonzo Musyoka is now ready to engage with Raila Odinga. Jubilee Party say that Uhuru was not part of initiating actually the government of national unity. That is after Raila Odinga claimed that it's Uhuru who urged Raila to reach out to Ruto for them to have a conversation on how to save this country. That is a conversation that we'll be having. Stay tuned.